Greetings everyone and welcome back to Clanfolk, where in the last episode we managed to slash the outstanding tasks. We have done a bit of beautifying around the colony. We've expanded out our guest rooms. There is all go over here. Our guests are currently just enjoying the last little bit before they head on out. It is sunrise. Job is already getting to work. In fact, I've changed some of the skill priorities. I won't go into too much detail here, but I've split our jobbers into two groups. Those that focus on the more labor-intensive tasks like mining and lumbering, and those that focus more on the kind of farming, ranching tasks, harvesting, gathering, and hunting. We're not actually putting down farming because it is autumn and we are not going to actually be planting anything for now. All of them have hauling at a relatively high priority. We've still got a couple of little bits and bobs to do about the clan, but a lot of things are getting done and I'm really, really happy. Now, we do have some important tasks to get sorted before winter hits. Now, unfortunately, one of the suggestions in the comments from FN Joinder, who suggested planting some more trees around the graveyard, I really like the suggestion. Unfortunately, we can plant nothing at this point. During autumn, you can't even plant trees. So if I try to do that, we cannot, sadly, plant any trees whatsoever. But another really good suggestion was to place a well closer to the homes. I really, really like that suggestion, actually. So let's go ahead and make that happen. And I think popping it right about here, just kind of tucked into this little area, still gives us the 3-wide road eventually, but gives us nice, closer access to water, which I think is going to be an important one for us. Now, the real big task is, of course, to get Terminal Serenity a house. However, whilst I was looking through things, readying to record, I noticed one very important detail. Terminal Serenity is close to being an adult, but so is Brutus Salazar. Her cousin is very, very close behind. So we're going to need to keep our eye out for potential husbands and wives for two people. But there is absolutely no way that we're going to get a whole house. In fact, 2 whole houses built in that time. So I'm thinking for this season, we're going to focus on building somewhat of a temporary house, because realistically, if Brutus and Terminal Serenity are aging up at the same time, then Oak and I believe it was, let's have a look. Where are you? Terminal Serenity, Brutus Salazar. Where have we got the others? Well, I mean, Amira is about to give birth, so I should imagine that, yes, we're going to see Oak and their cousin aging up at around the same time. So this is going to be a constant thing. And having a temporary place for 2 adults and to start their families, at least somewhere warm with double beds, nice big bedrooms, that will probably serve us well going forward. We might even need more of them in the future, depending on how large the clan gets. So give me a few moments to plot out a new home structure. Okay, I think we've got something usable right here. This is, of course, taking up much, much less space. Now, the one thing I didn't want to compromise on is having the nice big hall in the middle, as that's going to add a lot of beauty, but also having the large bedrooms, as the primary thing that's going to impact whether a couple feel confident to bring a new child into the world is how happy they are. And having a very big room that they spend a large amount of their daytime, or well, their nighttime in, that is actively pulling their mood up is going to help with that. So having a large private room is essential. Now, I'm thinking of having the bathtubs in each room. I don't know if I can restrict it to just a single family and still have other people help fill the bath, or whether that will completely restrict it. We'll have to see. We'll have 2 toilets, of course, because there's going to be at least 4 people potentially living in there. So I think this is going to be a good setup. Now, I'm going to have to transfer that down to here. I think we'll still have that setup somewhat central to the colony, but for the time being, let's go ahead and have a look at our jobbers. Have we got many more people arriving? There are 2 more jobbers arriving, it looks like. Let's have a look at you. You're weary. I'm already going to say a big old nope to that, I'm afraid. Elspat, you are somewhat in the right age range, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. We're going to be ultra picky here. Now, one thing I will say, I don't believe there is currently any kind of Crusader Kings 3-esque genetics. I don't believe there are like hereditary traits that get passed down. That being said, I'm not sure that there isn't, but I'm not operating with the assumption that, oh, well, I've got to try and maximize the beauty of the intelligence, etc., etc. I'm just looking for people that don't have negatives, because while they're here as a jobber, that is going to impact things, and certain things will actively impact their mood, which will actually have very, very long legs. It'll cast a very long shadow over the rest of the time they spend in the clan. Someone who's always a bit miserable is always going to be a little bit harder to bring them to that point where they feel confident about having children. Now then, I would like to pick up some seeds. I don't know if we're going to end up with enough. I would also like to pick up some pluck so that we can turn that into a couple of other things. I could also pick up leather. Leather would be something nice to get into in this particular season, but I don't know if we're going to get there. I will buy the coal. We're always needing more of that. However, I'm not going to sell much. We have spent a fair bit. Now, let me just check on our chicks. What's the situation with our chicks? We've got 3 brooding hens right now, and 1 rooster. Well, I think, let's have a look at your age. You're actually okay age-wise, so we probably don't need this chick, but I always have this feeling that I would like to have 2 males just in case some calamity befalls the first. So you've always got your spare, if you like. But we definitely don't need 2 rooster chicks. However, in terms of the hens, they are getting up there in age at this point. So I think we're just going to say goodbye to both. Well, we're going to say goodbye to one of them. And that will do for now. Thank you ever so much. We've got another jobber here. Let's have a quick glance at you. You're lazy. Automatic note. Take care, Sarah. Thank you for dropping by. It must have been quite a long walk for someone who's lazy, but I'm afraid not today. Now, we're going to continue along with our original plan of upgrading the material of each house over time. I quite like that idea, but can we afford anything particularly nice right now? Is there anything new that we can add? By the way, there have been a couple of new things added since the last episode. I'm going to hold my tongue on that one, though, because I think it's going to be a really cool surprise if that does kick in this episode. But I'll kind of allude to what it is. It affects the narrative of the game. If you're familiar with RimWorld, you've probably already got a bit of an idea of what might have been added. But that's it. I'm remaining stumm for the rest of it. Now, would I like to take... We already know what tile floors look like. Fancy tile floors, though. We've also got fancy wood, but we could definitely go for wooden floors here. I think that one wouldn't be a bad one. Sure, we'll pick up wooden floors. Right, so what kind of setup are we going to do down here? I want to have 2 wide path here. That's going to kind of be in a way, an alleyway, I guess. But we definitely want to make sure that there's a 3 wide path down here for the eventual upgrade to a road. So we're going to be starting about here with the bedroom. So that's 1, 2, space 1, 2. There we go. That will give us our nice big room. Again, the way you can think of this is the smallest room that has no modifier whatsoever is a 2x3. I believe they can go smaller, but effectively you halve or double. So a 2x3, if you split that in half, it becomes a tiny room, or anything less than this is a tiny room, and that has a malus. But a 2x3 has no negative. If you double it to a 4x3, or it might even be double it with a dividing line. I think it's something like that. So a 5x3, that's a large room, and then if you double that again to a 5x7, that is a huge room, and you get the biggest bonus from that. But for now, we are definitely not in a position where we can afford to do that. I'm terribly sorry. I know you would love to all have huge rooms, but that's just not on the cards today, I am afraid. All right, let's draw that out. Yeah, that gives us a 3 wide path down there as well, which is definitely what we want to do. There we go. This will have the bathrooms in there as well. And then, let's see. We wanted to come up and just branch down. In fact, I could fit all of this in right now. And if we're making this out of brick, that is going to give us a bit of an interesting setup. It's something a little bit new. So let's go ahead and shrink this stockpile over here, so I can pop the rest of these brick walls in. There we go. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time to get all of this done, but hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted relatively quickly. But there we go. That's the design move down here. We best get rid of this one over there before they start trying to build it. That would be a little bit embarrassing. They have managed to expand out this little area here, so we're going to go ahead and demolish these walls. I'm also going to switch this door down here instead. We are not going to need this window. It will not serve me any purpose there any longer. So I guess I'm going to pop the window over there instead. Once this is gone, we will move this door down here and then expand this room out properly. I would very much like a whole row of haystacks. Whether it's hay that's stored there, that doesn't matter, but the first couple should definitely be hay. Now, I believe we have at least one more jobber to check out. Let's have a look at you, Rachel. You are unfortunately weary, Rachel. We haven't had very good luck with the jobbers at the beginning of this season. Okay, well, we've got plenty of season yet to go. All right, I'm going to lay down a cut here and let our clan get to work a little bit. There's a few odds and sods I want to clean up around the place, and we probably should start expanding this area. I really would like to sort out this kind of path here, and maybe we will start laying down the proper pathing instead of just the mulch everywhere. Some places I really want to keep that, but I think it's time for us to have something more equivalent towards roads starting to show up here and there. We will see how that goes, but I will bring it back when there is something to report. Well, here is something new to report. Everyone say hello to Mini Murgle. Chaotically selected your name out of the hat of patron supporters, and you are welcomed into the clan. Hopefully you will have a long and very happy life here. Now, for those, this is actually really, really good, because I've had a couple of people in the comments say that babies are always afraid of the dark. That is not true. Although I only had anecdotal evidence to show, counter that with this, clearly shows that a baby, recently born, not afraid of the dark. So that is not an always scenario there. So let's get Mini Murgle into their own bed. There you go. How is Brutus Saladar doing, speaking about afraid of the dark? I wonder if that will go eventually. I'm really not sure if that is something that will leave them once they turn to adulthood. We will see. Right, we've got a new jobber here. They are Tom. They are not a bad age. They're a heavy sleeper, though. Sleep is not disturbed by noise. Not actually a negative in any way. That is very, very nice indeed. Do we have any other people dropping by? No. But you know what? That's going to be very nice, because we currently got a pessimist in our ranks who's taking 73 a day. You're not only not, you don't have a negative, you got a positive, and you cost less. I think that's pretty much case closed there. But first and foremost, let's do a little bit of trading. I am absolutely going to take any wool that I can at any point that I can, assuming we've got money, which it isn't always clear that we do. Let's have a look here. I definitely don't need a ram. I've got 3 rams currently. My lord, we definitely don't need that ram. I also definitely don't need another ewe. So we'll say goodbye to you, I am afraid. Do we have anything else that I can sell? At the moment, chicks-wise, I would be happier to keep the chicks that we've got. That said, though, I really do quite want all of these iron ingots, so I'm just going to go ahead and buy them. Yes, I know. I'm a little bit worried about the money situation as well. I'm also going to buy the pluck. My lord, I'm just selling all my stuff. I'm going to have to sell all my stuff. You know what? Let's say goodbye to a bunch of the wood here. Now, that is probably going to be an issue later on, because we are, of course, going to want to use that for the nice new floors. But we can definitely get rid of the stones. These are now, for all intents and purposes, a very easily attainable renewable resource. So I'm just going to sell that all the way down to there. And likewise for the bark, we're about to reclaim a lot of bark off the floor, so that should be okay. Finally, we've got the stone blocks. Now, I want to let the stone blocks build up for now, but these are probably the most renewable resource we have. This will never run out. Clay, if we can sell raw clay, that would be the next best one as well. But stones we just get out of the floor, there's no limit. Blocks, we have to use large stones, which we get out of the floor, no limit. The trees, have to wait for the trees to grow. They take quite a long time, and at some point we'll be out of trees. So we don't necessarily always want to get rid of those. But crockery, jugs, that sort of stuff, that requires charcoal, which requires branches, which again come from trees. So honestly, the blocks are more renewable than the bricks, the clay bricks and the clay tiles. So these will probably be our newest cash crop, I'm thinking. Do I have anything that I can sell over here? You know what? I do, and I can, and I will. Let's go ahead and shed some of these just down to 10. That should be fine. Say goodbye to them. How about you as well? You've got some food that I wouldn't mind taking. I will take the linen hank. I'll also take the linen cloth. I can turn that into better stuff. I'll take the sheaf. I will take the flax sheaf as well. I will take the oat grain. We'll plan for the future. Now, interesting thing here. We've got goats, and I can sell the adults. I wonder if that is intentional or if that's just an oversight, because from what we're seeing elsewhere, that is not the norm. Oh, you're almost a senior as well. I am going to err on the side of caution. I'm just going to assume that that is a bug, and that goats, like everything else, you should only be able to sell the infants or the juveniles. So I'm not going to sell the adult goats. That seems a little bit busted. We'll see how that goes. I'll actually reach out and see if that is in fact a bug or not. But that's all of the trading done. Right, Tom. You're absolutely going to be accepted. The only question is, who are we going to say goodbye to? Let's have a look through all of our current jobbers. You're gloomy. That's -1 fun per day. That isn't the worst thing, because if fun drops below a certain point, basically if you're cheerful, which is a lot of fun, then you get extra satisfaction. I don't think there is a negative version of that, but perhaps there is. Pessimist expects the worst possible outcome. Mood is always a little bit lower. That also isn't the worst. Sickly, we don't really have sickness to worry about right now. Actually, I think we're going to say goodbye to Henriette. Goodbye to Henriette. We're going to replace you with hunting, harvesting, and gathering. Okay, well, thank you ever so much for your hard work. It was very much appreciated. And Tom, let's get you set up. And here we go. We have the new element of the game that I was really, really hoping that would show up in this episode. Now, from what I understand, in current games, rather in fresh games, this can't show up for the first 30 days, but it does trigger in games that existed prior to the update, but I wasn't sure if you had to wait 30 days from the point that it had been added or not. But we'll get to this in just a moment, but a messenger has arrived. But first, we have got a worker, fast metabolism pessimist, that we're going to have to say goodbye to you. We've also got a little bit of trading to do. We will take the pluck. We will take all of the logs. Do I have much? I'm not going to be selling any wool clothing. That is absolutely not going to be happening. We want all of that for our own use. However, if we have a look at our chicks, we've got now quite a few. I'm going to let you become a rooster, and then we're going to say probably goodbye to that rooster. Do we need all of these hens? I'm not actually sure. Let me pause that there for a moment. You are a senior. Oh, I see. Well, in that case, I'm afraid it's time to say goodbye to you. I don't believe you're currently brooding. No, you are not. Good. You're an adult, that's fine. That should all be okay. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem for us at all. So we're going to be saying goodbye there to that trader. But we do have the messenger. Let's check this out. Outcast mother. A single mother has been cast out by her clan. She needs somewhere safe to stay and to have the baby. She is offered to work for free. Allow her to stay or send her away. Now, currently, I believe this is the only story element presently in the game, but the plan is to have these branch out and expand over time based on your choices, a little bit of randomness splashed in there. This is very reminiscent of the events in Rimworld that many of you, I'm sure, are already familiar with. Of course, we're going to allow you to stay, but that does kind of put a bit of a dampener on our house building. We're going to need to make a place for the baby and the mother to call their own. I don't just want them to have a shared accommodation. Okay, well, I'm going to be changing up a lot of things down here anyway, so this is probably a good time to consider it. Well, I would actually like that to be a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead. We're going to dig out an area back here. In fact, it is kind of high time that we do this. Let's go ahead and make a room back here. This will be a little bit of a tight fit for now, but it should be okay in the long term. I may even take this opportunity to properly replace this wall back there. We'll see about that one, but we need to dig this room in for now. In the meanwhile, however, I can simply assign this to what was her name? It was, I believe, Janet or Janet. Sorry, we've got too many Janet-sounding names, but here we are. Janet over here, desperate need, will not leave even at 0 satisfaction. That's a little bit grim, really. Thank you so much. I will work very hard. Well, don't work too hard. You're pregnant. You're lonely, grateful, grouchy, bored, sleepy. There's a lot of things going on. The grateful, you helped in their time of need. Well, this is going to now be your bedroom. There you go, Janet. I will also have to add you into the zone for the guests as well then, in that case. Let's make sure that this is also a place where you can satisfy your hearth needs for the time being, until we've got a proper room for you. Alright, there we go. Okay, well, progress on the house is actually coming along apace. Progress on the barn is also coming along apace, as you can see. This has all been set up. We've got a couple of new mousetraps. A couple of folk were concerned about having the cats near prey animals, such as chickens. And the reason for that was their prey drive in particular. Let me see if I can find a cat. There we go. There we are. So, the instinct to hunt, the killer instinct, this being full means they're fully satisfied. They're not really interested in hunting right now. They're sated. But as they get close to prey animals, this drive depletes. Or rather, this satisfaction depletes, and thus the drive increases. Now, I actually want that, because cats will not hunt chickens unless there's nothing else for them to eat. However, having a triggered hunting instinct will prompt them to go and find rats and kill rats, and I very much want them to do that. We have got a little bit of a rat problem, honestly. You're always going to end up with one. If I could have a cat sleep in the freezer without, obviously the downside of it being in the freezer, I absolutely would, because that would deal with the rat problem in there. But we do have a bit of a rat problem over here as well. So we actively want our kittens to be in hunting mode as often as we can get them in it, frankly. Right, there's more work to be done. Always more work. We're currently waiting on some more bricks. Hopefully we'll get to that. We're unfortunately shy on charcoal. There's a lot of moving around of things that I could do right now. Obviously, if we do too much moving around, then that's going to put us in a bit of a bad way for winter time. But I think we can do a little bit of something. We definitely need to make some room for what's happening over here, but also for the road down here as well. So give me a couple of moments to sort some things out, and I will bring you back when there's more to report. And welcome back. We've got a few new workers available to us. Barbara and Matiri. We had to say goodbye to their fellow who travelled with them as they were sickly. And at this point, really all we're doing is cycling them based on getting rid of negative traits. So we've got Nathaniel over here with Pessimist and Jonet with Sickly and Jolly. And we're going to be replacing them with Matiri, who is healthy, and Barbara, who has no negative or positive traits. So goodbye to Jonet. Thank you ever so much for your hard work. It is very much appreciated. And welcome to Barbara and Matiri. Each of them, well, okay, Matiri a little bit more expensive, but Barbara, not a bad wage there. Now, you'll notice that a lot of moving has gone around. Now, this is very much a temporary solution for the time being, because once winter hits, all of this is going to be covered in snow, and quite a few of these things won't work, I don't think, at that point. Or at the very least, it's going to be very unpleasant to be working out here on these tasks. But you'll notice I've also started to dig away the wall in here. We're going to replace this with maybe brick. I want to have a more permanent feeling solution for our larder. We're also moving other odds and sods around. The tool benches are all getting moved up here because we're going to start looking to place in the new walkway. Now, again, that isn't going to really help us out for winter because winter won't care about it. It'll all be covered in snow, and that's all that matters there. But it will help come the next year, and also it'll look quite nice. At this point, we're starting to look a little bit slim on the logs, so I'm thinking it's time at long last for us to cut down these trees that we've been growing pretty much all through the last year. You'll also notice that I've set down a bunch of gathering tasks, and as a result, we're just shy of 1,000 tasks. But hopefully we'll be getting through the lion's share of them very, very quickly. A lot of hay gathering, a lot of mushroom gathering. On that note, we do have a pantry shelf specifically for mushrooms over here, just the regular kind, and that was where they'll likely stay for quite some time. But all things told, we've got a lot of jobs to do, and not that many hands to do them with. Mini Murgle is currently warming up a little bit. Where are you, Mini Murgle? You're also wanting some food. There you go, you found your mother. There we are, perfect. But things are otherwise going quite well for the clan. Hopefully we can get some more woolen clothes. In fact, I want to see what kind of clothing people are wearing right now. Still got a fur hat, but a woolen shirt is nice. We've also got a woolen shirt there. Got a woolen shirt and linen bottoms. Very, very nice indeed. Linen shirt, linen bottoms, a linen coif. Linen shirt, bottoms, and coif. We've got linen. Okay, it looks like everyone else has just got the linen for now. We definitely want to get that up to wool if we can at all. Oh, look, there we are. Wonderful. Mini Murgles given priority on a wool shirt. That is the way it should be. But we've got a lot of mining to do. We are managing to get a decent amount of charcoal made now, which is starting to help out a wee bit. And once we mine into this area, we will start bringing out the iron to be processed into probably more nails. But as you can see, we are very close to finishing the structure of this house. At that point, it's going to be time for us to start laying down some flooring. And on that note, let's have a quick look. What kind of walls and floors do we really want in here? Well, I was just saying that I want something a little bit more permanent for the larder. Stone block wall, perhaps? I think stone block wall. The only downside to that is that does push us much further away from getting fancy wooden floors and fancy tile floors, but I think we can live with that one. In fact, let's go ahead and have a look at the different flooring that we've got, because we have unlocked wood flooring. Wood flooring is not actually that good. It's only nice on the inside with a 5 modifier, but brick floor is much, much better. That is a little bit of a shame. I'm not going to lie. Also, stone block walls, not that pretty, apparently. Okay, well, they're as pretty as wood walls, I guess. Brick is much, much higher, but sure, I think we're gonna try and replace the wall in here with stone block walls once we can. We are going to use wood floors down here, though, so let's go ahead and place that down. I think since wood floor is going to be less attractive, we will have brick floor for the bedrooms, where, again, they're going to be spending most of their time. For the time being, I will put a little bit of a mulch path right there, but it's not really what we're going to be aiming for. How many peeps have we got coming in? Oh, actually, on that note, do we have everyone set up with their correct beds? Let's just double check. Yes, we do. Okay, that's perfect. Right, we've got enough guests. We will have plenty of room in here, and still Janet will have their bed assigned. So all things are going well. It is coming up to sunset on the 4th day of autumn, year 4, and progress continues apace. It is morning on the 6th of autumn, and guess what just happened? Terminal Serenity is now an adult, and promptly we have people petitioning to join us. Tom, you are not terrible in terms of age. There's still a big gap there, and you do have a positive trait, so it's not awful. However, I'm not ready to make that decision quite yet. Let's see if anyone drops by today who is more eligible than you. Now, there are 2 options, of course. You can have them join the family, or you can marry your clan member into the other clan, which has a big reputation boost, and if you're struggling for reputation, that is something you can do. But for now, we're going to forestall that decision. We've still got an awful lot of building yet to do over here. We haven't even finished the walls yet, which is a bit of a problem. Hopefully we can get to that relatively soon. In fact, I'm probably going to shimmy around the skills as a consequence of this. We're going to bump the folks who are currently doing any kind of mining work, we're going to bump their skills right up there. And as for those who are doing the ranching, we'll drop down this a little bit. They can help out with the harvesting and the gathering. Let's make sure that that's happening at the very least. We've got an awful lot of tasks, and most of them are harvesting, farming, and gathering. There are still some farming tasks that are popping in here and there, but there aren't too many that we really need to worry about. Remember, farming tasks are an awful lot of different things count as farming tasks. We are managing to slowly get this area ready. We have finished this one, which I'm very happy about. And we have got a couple of jobbers, oh well, one jobber dropping by. Ooh, now, Diana, you are a very good age. We will consider you, but for the time being, let's first have a look at some trades. We will take on the berries. We're getting to that point where I think it probably is wise for us to start buying branches as often as we can. In terms of the wool hats, we've got one available. Someone will pick that up, no doubt. I don't think we're going to sell... Well, actually, we could possibly sell this chick, but I don't think we're going to. Who else have we got? We've got some Caesar. Don't need them. You've got some tiles. Now, as much as our money is low, I'm somewhat tempted by this. I am strongly tempted by it, actually. We've also got linen bottoms that we could sell on. In fact, I'm going to sell on these linen bottoms. Sure, let's go ahead and sell off the linen coifs as well. There we are. That brings us up a little bit in cash. I'll sell off some of the heather as well, some of the regular stone. Now, at this point, I could sell 5 of these for 25. I'm just going to bring this down to just shy of 100. That should be good enough for now. We are slowly accruing everything else, and that seems to be a good place for us to be. All right, let's have a look. Ooh. Okay, so we've got Neil and Diana. Both very, very attractive prospects, especially because their wage not too high right now. Okay, I think this is very much a possibility for us. If we have a look at our current workers, we have got Janet over here. Actually, Janet is a good age as well, but I don't think she counts. Let's have a look. We have got Matiri, who is similar age to Diana and is healthy, so I think we're going to say a no on Diana. But I think we're going to be saying goodbye to Tom. Now, the reason why I'm going to say goodbye to Tom, even though Tom is possibly one of the better workers that we've got, is, first and foremost, decent wage difference. So Neil is going to be a lot cheaper to keep on as a worker. But also, Tom is already interested, and I feel like that's just kind of crass. Just to invite someone else in and then marry them into it. I mean, this shouldn't really apply to relationships, but we all know it does. Nevertheless, if I'm perfectly honest, the other reason is so that I don't have to keep putting up with him constantly asking until Neil is satisfied enough to ask. So goodbye, Tom. I know you haven't been here for very long, but you are perfectly satisfied. So thank you very much for your work. Take care. Diana, we're going to say no to you, I am afraid. But Neil, welcome to the clan? Question mark. We'll see how that goes. But let me get Neil all set up. But that's making some progress. As you can see, I've caved. We are fertilizing the fields. Once again, we've just got way too much fertilizer. Honestly, I wish someone would come along who would want to buy it. I've got so much poop to sell. Ah, my lord. But there we are. Still waiting on a bunch of mining to be done. One of the problems that we have is that the mining focus is generally given to these over these jobs. So, you know what? I could easily bump that up in priority and make sure that these are done first. And I think I probably should have done that earlier. But nevertheless, I'll get Neil all set up, and hopefully it won't be too much longer before we can finish off the work on this house. And welcome back. Amira just finished working on the stone block wall. I actually quite like the way that looks. It's a shame that it isn't appreciated by the clan folk quite as much. It is the 7th day of fall. There are only 3 days left, and we are almost ready to start the finishing touches on the house over here. However, we've got 4 idea points, and I really would like it if this house was as nice as we could make it. Now, we can choose between a couple of things. We can have tile roofs, we can have wood roofs. I like the tile roofs, personally. We can have fancy tile floors or fancy wood floors. And since we're already going with a bit of a wood floor theme, I think we're going to grab the fancy wood. So let's have a look at what fancy wood floors look like, shall we? So regular wood floors are only a 5, but fancy wood is a 20. Very nice indeed. Let's go ahead and set this up. Now, does it need that much more wood? It requires an extra 3 wood and an extra nail per tile, but we should be able to easily get all of that going. The next thing that we're going to want after that then is the tiled roof. So let's actually set those up as well. Again, this is more or less a temporary house. This is just enough for Brutus Salazar and Terminal Serenity to be able to have their own private quarters with a little bit of a room there. We'll probably call this, well, actually, I'm not really sure what we'll call this, whose hearth this will be, or I guess it could be the kin hearth. You know, I actually quite like that, the kin hearth. Let's go ahead and make the new zone right now, and I'll name it already. There we go. However, we are also making some progress over here. As you can see, we now need to mine away these walls a little bit. Now, how much do you spread? Ooh, that's a little bit of a problem. I do not want you to catch this place on fire. So, to that end, maybe we will, in fact, push this room even further back. We could have more stone walls as well, or I could use brick walls for this one if I really wanted to. I would love to give Janet a proper big bedroom if I can. This is not quite large enough, and, well, we've replaced that wall, so we really could. If I particularly wanted to, we could go along and have stone block walls all the way down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That would give us a big enough room for it to be large. The limit is from 15 tiles onwards is considered a large room. Or 15 tiles up to 35 tiles, something like that. So we would want from 15 tiles. So we'd have 4, 12. There we go, 16. Yeah, we could definitely make this happen. There's not too much reason to make it any larger than that. But I think this will work out. Sure, let's actually pop this in, and we'll get all of this done as soon as we possibly can. Actually, one thing I won't do is I will not mark that job right there. Well, I should use the walls over here, because that designates it to be mined by a builder, and they're not as good at mining as the others. But okay, things are starting to get into place, and hopefully we'll be able to get all of this set up very, very quickly, because we are now desperately against the clock. How is Neil feeling about this place? Neil is almost at the point where Neil may start to consider asking for Terminal Serenity's hand in marriage, and Brutus Salazar is not very far away from being an eligible bachelor himself. It's all go in the clan today. There we go. We have managed to finish our new room. I mean, it doesn't look like much right now, but hopefully Janet will be happy with it. Let's go ahead and place down a single window looking in here. We're going to need a new bed. I'm thinking we're going to give Janet a double bed. Let's go ahead and pop that one about here, I would say. Well, actually, given that, maybe the window could be elsewhere. Let me move that around a little bit. We're going to put that window right there instead, and the reason for that is I would like 2 decorations. I would like 2 corner tables. One over here and one right there. Now these will cast light around themselves in that kind of formation. None of those will affect the bed. Further to that, I would like to have a clothing basket. I don't think Janet's really going to need more than a clothing basket on that note. No, actually, I'm going to leave those there. That's fine. And we also want a baby basket as well. We'll pop the baby basket right there, right next to the clothing basket. And that should be a perfectly serviceable room for her. Now, as you can see over here, we've managed to put in a good amount of the roofs. And we're even, by the looks of it, starting to work on the flooring as well. Ooh. Now that is very nice looking wooden flooring. I approve enormously. We've also got our first toilet in place. So things are coming together reasonably well. I did have to move the smithy and the bloomery up here because it kept raining, and that disables these items. So having these just shunted up a little bit should be good enough. Now what we really need to focus on is getting the tiles done. Unfortunately, we're quite far away from that. would possibly even be worth me getting another kiln, I'm thinking. Just to have 3 of these always going would probably help us out a fair bit. But at the same time, each one of these makes 25. How much do we need per roof? Let's have a look. 5. Okay, that's not great. Maybe I would have made it out of wood if I'd realized that, if I'm perfectly honest. But it's a little bit too late to worry about that one for now. What I can do, though, is I can continue popping down all of the decorations that are going to be in here. By the looks of it, we will have the flooring done very soon. And if I really need to, I can always put straw roofing over the bedrooms. And that way I can concentrate all of the tile on the central area. But I don't really think we're going to need to go that far, if I'm perfectly honest. I think we should be okay for the most part. We have managed to fertilize all of these fields, which I'm super happy with. And we've also managed to gather an awful lot of hay. If we look over here, we have probably got enough hay to carry us through the winter, even with the large amount of animals that we have. But we haven't really brought in many of the mushrooms. Unfortunately, we've been focused on so much other work that we really haven't had time to take care of that. We will hopefully still get time to get through these little bits over here, but I'm not really going to be focusing on that for now. What I would like to do is get this room ready for Janet and these 2 rooms ready for Terminal Serenity, and of course for Brutus Salazar as soon as possible. Currently, Neil wants to join the family. Well, Neil, I think we will accept you. Now, the problem with that is that Neil, well, we don't really have a bed for Amira and Neil. Look, it's not the best. I appreciate that. But in the name of love, you're just going to have to last a couple of extra days until I can get you a private room, okay? I'm sure it won't be the worst scenario. I could just send you away. It could be star-crossed lovers. No, you just need to sleep separately for just a day or 2 more. That's all I ask, just so I can finish getting you a proper bedroom. Though, honestly, if this one gets finished first, then maybe we'll just move them in there. That is also an option. At this point, though, we definitely could do with an extra set of hands to help out with all of the work now that we've freed up a bed. Well, I mean, technically, we haven't just yet, but we will very, very soon. Now, I suppose, with Neil actually being a main family member now, it's time for us to set you up in some other task. And looking at this, given how much you're into crafting, maybe... Yes, I think we're going to be setting you up to help out with Bentham over there. Okay, Neil, you're going to be a dedicated crafter. Happy days indeed. This is going to be a huge help for us because, honestly, we are struggling with the crafting and the clothes right now. So having someone who is very focused on that task would be very much appreciated. Right, let me get the rest of your priorities all sorted out. You're actually relatively highly skilled in most things, so I'm okay with getting this set up like that. And if you really do run out of things to do, you can always help out with a little bit of gathering or a little bit of mining as well. But there we go. Neil is now set up as a crafter and has already picked up the family plate. Ah, fantastic. I approve. Brutus Salazar is now an adult, and instantly we have all of the ladies are vying for his eye. Janet as well. Oh, I assumed that she wouldn't be looking, but I mean, I guess. Okay. Now, in terms of ages, we are... Barbara, I'm afraid not. Janet, I mean, realistically, Janet is quite possibly the best choice. Materi is ever so slightly low in satisfaction, but honestly, as soon as that hits full satisfaction, then Materi would also be available there. But this does pose the question. Materi and Janet are very, very similar in age, and Janet obviously is presently pregnant, very close to giving birth, actually. That does raise the question. You know what? I'm going to leave this one for the comment. Let me know down below whether you think we should go for Janet or Materi. I think Brutus can wait 2 days to find out. That should be fine for now. We do have another jobber available, though, an optimist, Lachlan. In fact, we've got more than one jobber available. We've also got a tireless optimist. Oh, wow. Okay, Margaret. Margaret is also... wow, okay. Brutus Salazar... It's turning into a harem anime. All of the women are vying for the supremely eligible bachelor that is Brutus Salazar. Okay, well, Lachlan, I'm afraid you're not as nearly as good as Margaret, especially considering the very, very low wage. We will absolutely hire you. I really couldn't think of a better person to bring on board, though that does mean we are shy one bed. Presently, I really do need to get this sorted ASAP. Hopefully we can focus on that one. I'm going to pass on the choice. Again, let me know down below whether you would like for Janet's story to continue on from being exiled from her clan as a young single mother to being not only taken in, given shelter by our clan, but actually going on to fall in love with a member of the clan. A real love story there in the making. But while all that's going down, let's have a look at the trader over here. We will definitely take the wool there. I am going to buy the wool shirts. Yep, 100% on that one. I very much want that warmth for our peeps. Now, as far as our chicks go, we don't need any more male chicks. We don't need another male lamb. And as much as I'm sure our peeps are really, really enjoying their butter, we're going to sell all of the butter. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You're just going to have to do without that one. I could also sell some of the bread as well, but I'm not really in too much of a rush for that one. There we go. We're back up to 803. That should do okay. Hopefully we can get all of this set up and we can then move Terminal Serenity and Neil in. But whilst all of that's going down, we need to find out Neil's true name. Eotrocles has spoken and Big Al has been selected. Welcome to the clan, Big Al. Hopefully we can get you a private room reasonably soon. I will do my best to get all of that done, but it is currently morning on the 9th of autumn and we are very, very close to winter. A little bit too close for my liking, if I'm perfectly honest. Hopefully we can get a good bit of gathering still done. We've still got some hay to gather, or rather to harvest. We've got more than enough peat at the moment, so I'm not too worried about fuel for the peat ovens. And we got plenty of branches. That being said, we are actually burning through them at a pace because we're using so much of it to turn into charcoal. So we may want to gather branches from around here as well, but that can be done towards the very beginning of winter without too much trouble, I don't think. So really the focus right now has to be on getting this room ready for someone to be able to move into. Well, it is sunrise on the final day of autumn, and you will notice that we did manage to finish the room, and currently there is a temporary zone here. This allows Big Al and Terminal Serenity to have this as effectively their own hearth. It is currently called Serenity's Hearth, because I can't fit the full name, but I think that's actually a lovely way of putting it anyway. Now, over here we are starting to put in the actual furnishings to the main room, as much of the area has now been completed, and in fact I believe, yes, it does look like we have all of the roofing down. So now all that remains is the flooring, which doesn't take too much, thankfully, not nearly as much as the roof does. Now let's have a look over here. Janet, Matiri, and Barbara are all once again trying to catch Brutus's eye. My lord, Brutus. Right, let's have a look down here. In terms of purchases, I will buy the logs. They're always useful for me. I will sell that chick. We're going to keep all of these pullets for now. I could sell all of the butter just to get us up there a little bit. If this is wool, yes, it is wool, so we're not selling any of those. That is absolutely not for sale. I will sell some of the heather, though, just to get us up a little bit closer towards 1,000, which is where I would like to be. Really? You allowed wool cloth to go off? What is wrong with you people? My lord, okay, I understand. Basically, I've been way too focused on getting certain things done. That's on me. That's not on you. Nevertheless, I really wish you had prioritized not losing that. Oh, my lord, we can sell poop. Finally, I'm going to become rich from selling poop. We really, really have needed to be able to do that for quite some time, actually. There we go. That's definitely helped out a fair old bit, and that's taken us well over the point that we needed to be. Now, you're gloomy, don't want you around, and, well, I mean, you're an optimist. I wouldn't mind actually having you stay here. But, Dougal, I'm afraid that right now is not the time. And frankly, at this point, I think it is time for us to start getting a lot more done. We've still got a couple of places that we need to harvest, but I don't think people are really going to be focusing on that right now. Instead, everyone's just trying to get the last little bits done. So I think what we're going to do is our jobbers are going to bump up their priorities in terms of hauling. The exception I will make is for lumbering. Lumbering is definitely something I would like to be done first. So we will leave that where we can. And, oh, your fur guard. Sorry, you've arrived and you're like, well, will you hire me? It's like, no, I'm afraid not. I closed that down before you got here. But we do need very desperately to get things sorted out over here. Now, this is going to be a family hearth, so all of these are going to be priorities of 8. There we go. Now, I'm not going to put down the beds just yet because that is going to pull away quite a lot of the materials. I just want to get, honestly, enough of this place all set up if I can. That would be marvellous. In fact, I'm going to prioritize certain things. We're going to get these up at 8 so that they get built first. That, once again, is a family task, so that one should be done. We're not going to have a fireplace in this building. We just don't have the room for it, unfortunately. What I would like, though, is, as far as decorations go, sure, let's put down a large straw rug right about there. It'll be lovely. Eventually, we'll be able to do that sort of stuff with tartan, but that is for a future. For the future. Right, I want only water jugs stored over here, and once again, that should be an 8, and this one should only be empty chamber pots. Once again, an 8. Am I restricting how many of those I store around here? No, not really, so that's fine then. Okay, we're almost done with all of the flooring, and I'm fantastically happy to see that being the case. So given that, maybe it is time for us to consider popping down the double bed. Should we pop this over here? You know what? We'll do it on both sides, much the same way. There we go. I know it's a little bit symmetrical, isn't it? It's a bit of a problem, but we should be okay. I'm not going to worry too much about the decorations in these rooms because they're going to be hard enough to get set up as is. So let's just focus on getting the rooms done rather than everything else. We also want that floor mat there, and that is that's a very important one because that's going to dramatically reduce the cleaning time needed. Now, if we can get both of these beds up and running in time, then I am A-okay with getting Brutus and Terminal Serenity moved over. I don't need that as a priority. I don't need that done as a priority. These need to be priorities. I'm going to have those on 7s, but this needs to be done before I move anyone in here, basically. Once that is available to us, then this is effectively a house that they can inhabit. Oh, wow, you're already getting that one going. Wow, okay, fair enough. Have we got everything we need there? We need clay. Quite a lot of it, actually. Have we got enough clay? We've only got a partial amount, so we definitely need a little bit more work done on that. Oh, no, never mind. Well, I am frankly amazed. I mean, I take it back. I knew you were going to be able to do it. Didn't doubt you for the scantest of seconds. Right, well, in that case then, let's bump these up a little bit in priority just to make sure that this place is nicely appointed for them. Okay, well, given that then, I guess we're going to create a new zone and... oh, no, we've already got that one, sorry. We can do away with this one. Can I take away a zone? Delete the zone. There we are. Kin Hearth. There we are. So this will be the Kin's Hearth. There we go. And draw that out. It'll look absolutely lovely. We will add family to it. And for now, it will be Brutus Salazar. Let's get you in there. You can have the top bed, Brutus. There you go. And once we know who you're going to be marrying, then we'll be able to set that up better for you. Right, well then, given that, as soon as this bed is ready, we can move Terminal Serenity over as well. And then finally, Janet can move into this room. Though, depending on what you decide in the comments, Janet might not be there for very long before moving over here. If that ends up being the case, then that does give us a bunch of extra room as well that we're going to be able to make use of. Perhaps expanding out the facilities over here. I'm kind of liking the idea of maybe having a 2x2 kind of cubicle for the bath, with a little rush light on a corner table, something like that. Maybe having 4 of them set up for all of our workers. I think that would actually be quite lovely. Are we going to get this done in time? We need 20 nails. You know what? I'm going to make that an ultra priority. If we can get that done before the end of this episode, then we have exceeded our expectations enormously. Oh my lord, we did. Well now. Where are you? Terminal Serenity. You are now a part of this hearth as well. So the kin hearth. Let's get Terminal Serenity in here. And Big Al. There you go. And that means Serenity's hearth can go for now. There we go. That, actually, thinking about it, that means that we can make this into the workers' hearth. We'll expand that out into it. Like so. And then this bed goes across to Janet. Where are you, Janet? There we are. That one is yours. And this one can go back to our guest. Finally, I don't have to very carefully watch how many people are arriving to send anyone over 5 away before they actually arrive, lest they get a little bit upset. Oh, this is absolutely fantastic. I am so over the moon with what we've managed. We almost even got that together. But look at that. Just in time for the first snows. Now, there is still a fair bit of gathering and scything to do. And that is something that we'll be focusing on for the very first part of the next episode, just to try and get all of this brought in before it's too late and we can't harvest it. I feel that we've got plenty of materials for all of our animals, though I'm probably going to have to start shrinking the herd a little bit. We've allowed it to get a wee bit massive, especially in regards to the chickens, thinking about it. But I'm very, very happy with where we've managed to get to. It's only, well, it's just hovering above 9, but then we haven't got these 2 tile ovens running, which is a bit of a shame, actually. That means that everything in here is going to be quite cold as well. But what about up here for the workers area? It's warm. And for all of the various homes, yeah, we're actually managing to maintain the correct amount of heat. We just need to make sure that those tiled peat ovens are turned on before nightfall, because as you can see, this is very, very chilly. This is not dangerous for the animals yet. As long as it doesn't approach too close to freezing, then you should be okay. And there we go. The temperature is now rocketing up. But that is going to be it for today's episode. My goodness, we have covered a lot of ground. I am not used to getting this much done in basically just a single season. We managed to finish a wallop load of farming. We didn't get as much gathering done as I would have liked, and I will say that that is a bit of a disappointment, but we only had a small amount of harvesting left to do in terms of the hay, so I'm pretty happy with that, all things considered. There's still plenty of branches out here. Now, we do need to gather those because, frankly, we are quite shy on branches. That being said, we will make branches from the logs if we need to, and we probably will. This, unfortunately, is a bit of an issue down here because a lot of this work is not going to be done properly. I could throw together a very temporary kind of roof over this, maybe move the kilns over here and then just build up something and then put a straw roof over the top just to have this workspace, covered, so it isn't too much of a problem. But I am so incredibly happy that we managed to get everything together for this little area. I am thrilled, in fact. We are going to restrict to only 3 slots for the tile peat stove. I don't think we need more than that. But that is going to be it from us. Now, as ever, I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, you know how to let me know, and more importantly, to let St. Algorithmus know with the beautiful buttons down below. But whilst you're down there, do let me know your opinion on who Brutus Salazar should woo. The options are everyone. We've got Janet, Materi, we have Barbara, and indeed Margaret. Personally, I would say Janet, Materi, and Margaret are the real options there. Margaret has a lot going for her. She's tireless, she's optimistic, she's healthy. And Janet obviously has a certain story flavour going for her. And then finally we've got Materi, who's healthy. All three of them are around the right age for Brutus, so do let me know down below what you think, and I will see you in the next episode. But until then, and as always, from myself and the whole clan, do take care.